Hello, welcome to Tea and Biscuits and Murder. I am your host, not Dr. Alan Campbell. Our subject today, as always, is Dr. George Hill Hodel, serial killer, criminal genius, evil mastermind, and all-round bad egg. I recently received a note that said, "Dear not Dr. Alan Campbell, please discuss Steve Hodel's claims about his father and the district attorney's Black Dahlia files. That George Hodel was suspected of killing his secretary. That Elizabeth Short left Los Angeles for Chicago to investigate the Suzanne Degnan killing of 1946. And that George Hodel dated Elizabeth Short. Yours very truly, most sincerely, Tow Truck Guy." Well, P.S. Please do not imitate John Huston. Well, very well, Tow Truck Guy, and thank you, I think. Now, to answer your questions, I've invited my little friend, Boxy. Say hello, Boxy. Now, Boxy here is the Los Angeles County District Attorney's files in the Black Dahlia case, aren't you? All right, Boxy, now you've heard the questions. What do you have to say about Dr. George Hill Hodel being suspected of killing his secretary? What? You mean there's nothing in the district attorney's files about George Hodel being suspected of killing his secretary? Really? Boxy. Well, what do you have to say about Elizabeth Short leaving Los Angeles for Chicago to investigate the murder of Suzanne Degnan? How about that? What do you mean? Now, see here, Boxy. Steve Hodel says that it's right in here, right in this box, that his father was suspected of killing his secretary. It's also, Steve Hodel says, that it's right in here, in this box. Elizabeth Short left Los Angeles for Chicago to investigate the murder of Suzanne Degnan. Boxy, you better behave yourself, or I'm going to do my impersonation of John Huston. All right, let's press on, shall we? All right, Boxy, what do you have to say about Dr. George Hill Hodel dating Elizabeth Short? Well, Boxy, is there anything you would like to share? There is? Should I look inside? Oh, what do we have here? Well, let's see. What does this say? Oh, Lieutenant Frank B. Jemison. February 20th, 1951. Elizabeth Short, murder. Carl Ball. Information in Ray suspects. Carl Bolsiger. Claude Welsh. Sergeant Chuck. John D. Wade. Joe Scalise. James Nimmo. Maurice Clement. Unknown Chicago police officer. Salvador Torres Vera. Oh, there we are. Dr. George Hodel, MD. Thank you, Boxy. Thank you. Dr. George Hodel, MD, 5121 Fountain Avenue. Wait, what? Fountain Avenue? Have you lived on Franklin Avenue? Fountain Avenue. Frank Jemison, don't know about you. At the time of this murder, had a clinic at East First Street near Alameda. Lillian Lenorak, who lived with this doctor, said he spent some time around the Biltmore Hotel and identified the photo of the victim Short as a photo of one of the doctor's girlfriends. Tamara Hodel 15-year-old daughter stated that her mother, Dorothy Hodel, had told her that her father had been out all night on a party the night of this murder and said, "They'll never be able to prove that, doctor. They'll never be able to prove that I did that murder." 2 microphones were placed in the suspect's home. See the logs and recordings made over approximately 3 weeks' time, which tend to prove his innocence? Prove his innocence? Boxy. See statement of Dorothy Hodel, former wife. Informant Lillian Lenorak, has been committed to the state mental institution at Camarillo? Joe Barrett, a roomer at the Hodel residence, cooperated as an informant. A photograph of the suspect in the nude with a nude identified as colored model was secured from his personal effects. Undersigned identified this model as Mattie Comfort. She said that she was with Dr. Hodel sometime prior to the murder and that she knew nothing about his being associated with victim. Rudolph Walters, known to have been acquainted with the victim and also with suspect Hodel, claimed that he had not seen the victim in the presence of Hodel and did not believe that the doctor had ever met the victim. The following acquaintances of Hodel were questioned, and none were able to connect the suspect with this murder. None. None were able to connect this suspect with this murder. Fred Sexton, Nita Moladoro, Ellen Taylor, Finley Thomas, Mildred B. Colby. This witness was a girlfriend of Charles Smith, abortionist friend of Hodel. Taryn Gilkey, Irene Somerset, Norman Beckett, Ethel Kane, Annette Chase, Dorothy Royer. See supplemental reports, long sheets, and hear recordings, all of which tend to eliminate this suspect. Boxy. Oh, there's more? Oh. Let's keep going here. Let's press on, shall we, Boxy, and see what we've got. Oh. Patrick S. O'Reilly, Mark Hansen. Oh. Is this what you mean? The Beth Short murder has at all times been the responsibility of the Los Angeles Police Department, Homicide Division. Wait a minute. Whoa. Boxy, doesn't Steve Hodel say that the investigation was turned over to the district attorneys to involve? Let's go through that again. The Beth Short murder has at all times been the responsibility of the Los Angeles Police Department Homicide Division. After the undersigned testified before the 1949 grand jury hearings, this grand jury requested the 1950 grand jury to continue their investigation into this murder, along with that of Gene French. Deputy District Attorney Fred Henderson, advisor to the 1950 grand jury, advised the undersigned that a progress report on the investigation of these murders would be required from time to time. The undersigned advised Deputy Chief Thad Brown of this, and it was agreed that the case would never be assumed by the district attorney's office. Never? it was agreed that the case would never be assumed by the district attorney's office, that all of the files and evidence would remain with the Los Angeles Police Department Homicide Division, and that temporarily undersigned would assist in this investigation. Chief of Police Wharton, when interviewed, approved this plan. Copies of all statements and reports were given the Los Angeles Police Department for their files. See reports and statements for names of various officers working with undersigned. On October 3, 1950, the grand jury apparently lost interest in these murders as they had not summoned undersigned for progress reports. And Chief of Bureau Investigation H. Leo Stanley advised the closing of the investigation. Closed, Frank B. Jemison. Well, tow truck guy, I'm afraid that what's here in Boxy is not exactly what Steve Hodel has to say. In fact, it's quite a bit different, completely. But tow truck guy, I hope that answers your questions. And for now, I am not Dr. Alan Campbell, signing off for Tea and Biscuits and Murder. So long from me and Boxy.